the All-Ireland finalists make their way out onto the pitch, and it's Galway who are here, greeted by a deafening ovation from their fans. Noel Lane leading out the team, bidding to atone for last year's defeat. It's one of 4 losses Galway has suffered in a recent final. Will this finally be their day? Will it be like 1980 when they beat Limerick? And fantastic colour here everywhere, the red and white of Cork contrasting with the maroon and white of Galway. Very much a national occasion, of course. And there you have the packed terraces. And good afternoon, or good morning I think it should be, to viewers of closed circuit television in America watching us there from coast to coast. Viewers in San Francisco will be up around 7 a.m, glued to their televisions to watch the All-Ireland hurling final. And here comes the cheer now, and the men from Cork are out in Croke Park. Croke Park has not been a happy hunting ground for them since they last won an All-Ireland here in 1978. Since then they've lost twice to Kilkenny, and the one crumb of comfort was their centenary year victory over Offaly in Thurles, but that was 2 years ago. So the Galway team posing for the photographs. The photographs that will go into the scrapbooks later on and remain forever. Just a little bit of tension about, as you can see. Quite a young team, that Galway team. And the Cork men down at the other end, here they are. 10 members of this team won All-Ireland medals 2 years ago, but the big surprise was the selection of Teddy McCarthy at wing forward. He's one of 4 changes from the semi-final against Antrim. Injury forces Dermot McCurtain and John Hodgins out, while John Fitzgibbon and John Buckley move down to the subs. Dennis Walsh takes over at wing back. Pat Hartnett, despite an injured shoulder, is wrist on the other flank, and yet another injury now. John Fenton starts in his usual midfield berth. And here's Tom Cashman, the man from Blackrock, leading his side and hoping to be the first Blackrock man to captain Cork to victory since the great Ray Cummins did that exactly 10 years ago here. 10 years ago, Cork were just at the start of a 3 in a row, a magnificent 3 in a row here in Croke Park, with victories over Wexford in '76. And it's a very, very warm day here, thankfully, in Croke Park. Plenty of sunshine about, and the pitch looking in magnificent condition. Well, we haven't taken a look just yet at the Galway team. Let's do so now. And there's the Galway team with the same side that defeated Kilkenny in sensational fashion in the semi-final 4 weeks ago. Only the numbers have been changed, as they say, to confuse the commentators. Pierce Piggott wears number 10, while Joe Cooney is listed at full forward. Anthony Cunningham wears the 13 shirt, but will probably be given a free role to play. And while the cornerbacks, they've been switched as well. The big question, of course, will they now be able to switch a losing run in All-Ireland finals into a winning pattern? Only time will tell. And there we have their team captain, 31-year-old Noel Lane, and Joe Cooney, very much the young hero, who's only 21, had a marvellous match in the semi-final against Kilkenny, setting up goals and scoring goals himself. And the atmosphere here is really electric, a highly charged atmosphere, as always on All-Ireland final day. Hardly a space to be found in there, and a crowd probably around 68,000. Teddy McCarthy here from Glanmire, a SARS man playing in his very first championship match. And what a nice way to make your championship debut, right in the final. Will he have those red and white flags flying up there on Hill 16? And here he is, Jimmy Barry Murphy. I rate him the coolest character down there in the field. He spent last night watching the dog races in Shelburne Park, and he loves his football. He also likes the dogs. John Bailey from Dublin, with the toss, and Noel Lane seems to have won the toss, and he'll be opting to play, it appears, from right to left. I'll just clarify that. There is a breeze blowing down the field in towards Hill 16, and it could well be that they will play against the breeze in the first half, Galway. Johnny Clifford there, the Cork coach. He coached them in '83. There's the breeze, quite a stiffish breeze blowing diagonally across Croke Park. There's Johnny Clifford, a great player, of course, who played the last time that these two counties met in an All-Ireland final, 1953. He was the coach in 1983 when they failed to Kilkenny, hoping for a bit more luck today. Here's Jerry McInerney, a young man from Kinvara in Galway. He was a left half-back on the Galway minor team of '83, the only Galway minor team to have won the All-Ireland Championship. And he's one of 4 players from that minor team now stepping up to full senior grade. This is the 3rd time, by the way, that these sides will have met in All-Ireland final. There's Cyril Farrell. The man has done so much. He's been associated with all of Galway's successes at minor, under-21 and senior level. And I know one fan of Galway, 90-year-old Tom Codovin from Salt Hill, is watching this match this afternoon, and 90-year-old Tom was a sub on the 1923 All-Ireland winning Galway team. They've only won it twice. Tom is hoping this will be the 3rd time this afternoon against Cork. We've mentioned our viewers in America, of course, all over America watching this game this afternoon. One man in particular, Father Matty Walsh, who's the chairman of the Galway County Board in the 40s and 50s, he's watching it in the Irish Centre in San Francisco. What he's watching right now is Conor Hayes, the great fullback for Galway. He'll have the task of marking Jimmy Barry Murphy this afternoon, in all probability. Dennis Conroy of the Cork County Board, a flamboyant character, and keeping away the sunshine with that dazzling hat. And here we've got Pierce Piggott, who played as a 3rd midfielder for Galway, absolutely bamboozled Kilkenny in the semi-final. John Commons is the Galway goalkeeper. This is his 1st season. By the way, he's the youngest player in today's final. He's only 20. He'll be 21 at the end of the month, so hoping for an early birthday present. That's Dennis Mulcahy, one of 5 Middleton players playing for Cork this afternoon. Interesting change of power. There's Pat Hartnett on his left there, his clubmate. He's carrying a shoulder injury into this game, and you can see that it's padded there. And the big question mark, of course, is going to be whether he will be able to withstand maybe a heavy shoulder early on. He's a great-hearted player, and one of 5 Middleton players playing for Cork this afternoon, which shows how the balance of power in Cork has changed around at club level. That's a spectacular scene this afternoon for this, the 13th championship match of the year. 14 hopefuls started out on the McCarthy Cup trail exactly 15 weeks ago. And so the President of Ireland, Dr. Patrick Hillery, accompanied by Dr. Mick Loftus, President of Cumann Glasgow, gets the opportunity to meet some players I'm sure he admires very much, because he's a great student of hurling. And I remember seeing him quite recently at the Munster final when his native Clare fell to Cork in what was a memorable Munster final. And speaking of memorable games, in case you've joined us late, Offaly won their 1st minor hurling championship this afternoon, beating Cork in dazzling fashion. A terrific game of hurling it turned out to be. There was a goal in the difference at the end, 3-12 to 3-9. And as I say, Offaly's 1st victory in the All-Ireland Minor Championship. And the referee is 39-year-old John Bailey. His assistants this afternoon, his linesmen, Pat Delaney from Rathdowney and Laois, and Jerry Kirwan from Ballyskenagh in Offaly. Noel Lane, 31-year-old Noel, introduces his colleagues on the Galway team. Just in case you are superstitious, you might like to know that Galway, who arrived here at about 1:45, went into what has become their losing dressing room, I'm afraid. They were in that dressing room last year, and they were in it as well in 1982. Cork, by comparison, have gone into what has become known in Croke Park as the winning dressing room. Offaly were in there last year, so too Kerry. Not too many of the fans are believing in superstition. They're looking forward to a good game as we go back to Michael Lester.
Well, back here, Ger, with me in the commentary box. A quick comment now before the match starts from Joe McDonagh and from Con Roach. Joe McDonagh, if I can put it to you first, a lot expected of this Galway team here today. They're going into the match favourites, but a lot of these players are young players and inexperienced players. I wonder if the occasion is going to get to them.
Well, it's a big occasion, Michael. It's a big occasion to come here in All-Ireland final, but a lot of them have been through the mill last year, and I suppose what a lot of people have been disregarding, that these young fellas, a lot of these young fellas are winners all along. Many of them have All-Ireland medals coming through from vocational schools, mine are under 21, so they're a different breed of Galway hurler, if you wish, to the previous teams that we had here in Cork Park.
Con Roach, Cork has so much more experience, I suppose, than Galway on occasions like this, but I think it's not the lack of experience that's worrying Cork people going into this match. It's a question over the fitness of many of the players. Now, we know that particularly Pat Hartnett is carrying a dislocated shoulder into this match. He's actually got a pin in his shoulder. Given that kind of background, doubts over John Fenton, John Crowley as well, is that something that you're worried about? Because, of course, Cork has already today lost players who can't line out here today on the side.
Yes, Michael, that's very true. Pat Hartnett obviously must be, you know, it's a gamble maybe taking a chance with him playing with an injured shoulder. He is, from the lads I've been speaking to, have said, you know, he's been going extremely well in training, and I think he wouldn't be in the final unless he was 100% fit. You know, same goes for Johnny Crowley. I think Johnny is, you know, he's went through a fitness test yesterday, but even passed it flying. You know, so I think that, you know, mentally, I think they're here for the game, and, you know, I think they're looking forward to the game, you know.
Well, I suppose, Con, injuries are inclined to fade away into the distance a little bit when you get out there onto the field just before the big final itself. A marvellous scene as the players break away from the Artane boys band after the parade. Let's rejoin Ger Canning.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael. Today's final, by the way, is the 98th All-Ireland hurling final, though next year they'll be celebrating the centenary of the first final, but there wasn't a final in 1888 or 1911, as I remember, and so next year will be the 99th. There will be the centenary of the first, and they can have their 100th celebrations of the first final in 2 years' time. That's a bit confusing. But a spectacular scene. Splendidly sunny afternoon. Cork will be playing from left to right in the first half against the breeze. Packed terraces, agus anish, Shagoiv out on the Vian. Well and truly drawn. And just a quick recap of the teams. This is how Cork will line out despite injury worries to Pat Hartnett, Johnny Crowley and John Fenton. 10 of the team were on Cork's last All-Ireland winning team 2 years ago, while 10 of today's Galway team were in the side beaten in last year's final by Offaly. The newcomers, John Cummins, wing-back Jerry McInerney, forwards Martin Naughton, Pierce Piggott and Anthony Cunningham. John Bailey, the 39-year-old referee from Dublin, sets the scene and the match is underway. And we notice some switches already, as expected, in the Galway team. This is Anthony Cunningham trying for the point, and he's put it wide. Cunningham, as expected, seems to be playing a kind of right-wing forward position. Pierce Piggott's in midfield as expected. Sylvie Linane is being given the task of marking Jimmy Barry Murphy. Conor Hayes is on Kevin Hennessy. And there he is, Jimmy Barry being marked by the tenacious Sylvie Linane. Johnny Crowley's all on his own at the moment because of the confusion down there. There he is on his own for a moment. That's Joe Cooney picking up Anthony Cunningham here. Direct, forceful play by Galway as they look for some early scores. Stopped by Dennis Walsh, the man from Connacht near Fermoy. That'll be a line ball for Galway. So some early switches there, Eamon Cregan, sitting here beside me. How do you think this was going to go, and how will it affect Galway and Cork?
Well, after the Kilkenny match, we were saying that Galway wouldn't try the same tactics twice, but they have done it. They have done the same thing. They've brought the corner forward way out into midfield and left Johnny Crowley on his own lost. We're now watching John Fenton taking a touch.
So John Fenton, that's the 65-metre line. The Galway sub's just behind him. Breeze into his face. It's a free indeed, and he's put it wide. So both sides have had one wide each. We await the first score. John Commons with the puck out. It's between Tom Cashman and Brendan Linsky. Johnny Crowley misses it completely. Richard Brown, and a bit of pushing there on Brendan Linsky. The referee has the whistle blown, and it'll be a free in to Galway. A very tough campaigner as always is Brendan Linsky. Joe Cooney is the free taker. Not a task he particularly wants to have. But he's put the first three over the bar, and he's given Galway the lead. 2.5 minutes are gone. So the Galway flags are flying high. Teddy McCarthy going for that ball, gets it at the second attempt, but straight to Tony Kilkenny. A very effective midfield player to a very good man on the 40 for Galway. That's Brendan Linsky. Fouled yet again. Already he's in the wars. And the referee has a quick word with Jim Cashman, tells him to take it nice and easy, Jim. Jim Cashman, a younger brother of Tom Cashman, the Cork captain. Joe Cooney's gone way out, right into the centre of the field to take this free. Giving it plenty of height. Aim towards Anthony Cunningham. Still in play, and Richard Brown fires it across towards the far wing, towards Tony O'Sullivan. Peter Finnerty gets there first. Had a great season last year. Was a little disappointing in the league, but now back to his best. Noel Lane palms it down. But it comes to Johnny Crowley of Cork. Teddy McCarthy here. Galway, remember, the early leaders, leading by a point to no score for Cork. The goalkeeper advances. Kevin Hennessy with a chance. Missed it the first time. Conor Hayes got it in interception. Cork still on the attack. Kevin Hennessy looking for an equaliser. He's got it. The sides are level thanks to Kevin Hennessy. His persistence finally paying off. And every indication really that Cork are going to use every opportunity in attack to test the young goalkeeper John Commons. But Hartnett fouled, free to Cork. Tom Cashman's long free towards Jimmy Barry Murphy. Can't hold on to it. But he was being pushed, the referee quite correctly, awards a free in. It'll be from the 20-metre line. Jimmy Brohan of Cork, one of the selectors, the man with the water bottle. So John Fenton will be the one, as always, to take the free. Was troubled by an ankle injury for the last 10 days. Went through a fitness test on Wednesday night. So can he give Cork an early lead? He goes for the goal! Cork go into the lead thanks to that well-directed goal by John Fenton. Everyone in the crowd was expecting a point, including the Galway players, but it went high and over the goalkeeper. So back with the play, and what a body blow that is to Galway after only 6 minutes. A lot of people, of course, have been saying that there was so much class in this Cork team, they simply couldn't be forgotten. They'd been written off by many of the pundits, or many of the experts. Tony O'Sullivan keeping on the pressure. Tomás Mulcahy unable to get to it. Tony Keady gets it out. Johnny Crowley. So Galway, having gone into their formation that they used in the semi-final, shattered by that early goal. Really now trying to apply themselves to the fight. And they've got themselves a free. They're playing away down at the other end, but there was another foul on Brendan Linsky, who seems to be the target for much of the pressure so far. A general feeling, of course, that he is very much the danger man.
Ger, I think at the moment Galway have confused themselves by drawing out the corner forward out to midfield. Now, what has happened is Cork have got a goal against the run of the play, and Johnny Crowley has picked up quite a lot of ball. I've seen Cyril Farrell come onto the field to direct Kilkenny into the corner forward position, which he's about to do.
Joe Cooney taps over the free. That's Galway's second score. Ger Cunningham, the St Finbarr's man, taking the puck out, aimed towards Teddy McCarthy. The wing forward has possession. Now, can he get in the shot? Tony Keady, the defender, making it difficult for him. To Tomás Mulcahy, a former All-Star. Again, they go looking for a goal. It touched the stick that time of Ger Fitzgerald. John Commons, the goalkeeper, is being sorely tested in the opening minutes. That's quite clear. His debut season in the championship, and already he's finding it quite hot down there. Jim Cashman. Cork really taking a grip after that goal. Teddy McCarthy has it, and he's won the free in for Cork. And again it'll be John Fenton who will take it.
I think Teddy McCarthy is going to be the man, could be the man of this match today, because already he has put an awful lot of pressure on the Kilkenny defence. He's tough, he's strong, he has tremendous courage.
So John Fenton, I wonder would he ever think of trying for another goal? He's content with the point. It comes off the post and goes over the bar. So John Fenton doing the sensible thing, and a goal between the teams. Nearly 9 minutes gone in the first half. Directed towards Brendan Linsky. Tony Kilkenny got a stick to it. Johnny Crowley without any stick, and the referee saw a bit of holding by one of the Galway players. Free out for Cork. And after the early pressure in the opening couple of minutes from Galway, it's been all Cork for about the last 5 or 6. Johnny Crowley today, he's bidding for his 5th All-Ireland medal. Tony Keady beaten by Tomás Mulcahy, who's doing quite well at centre forward so far. Jim Cashman, the midfield player, right up there with the forwards, inviting the push in the back. The referee says that will be a free in.
Ger, Galway seem to be the more nervous side here today. They seem to be under terrible pressure and things are going wrong, but there's still plenty of time in the game yet.
John Fenton then just outside the 20-metre line. This is a more difficult angle. John has already contributed a goal and a point from frees. A great striker of a ball, crisply putting it over the bar. Another lovely point. Such a deadly striker of a ball, John Fenton. Indeed, there had been a lot of worry in Cork over the last couple of days that he might not have been able to play because of an ankle injury. So far, it certainly hasn't come against him. Brendan Linsky now to lift the siege and to set Galway away. He's dragged down yet again. And that must have been the third or fourth time that's happened. Joe Cooney will take the free. And Joe Cooney, the scorer of all of Galway's points so far. Cork now leading by double scores. But certainly Galway so far struggling to get into their regular pattern. That's a mighty puck out against the breeze, remember. Jerry McInerney battling away but losing it. Jimmy Barry Murphy trying to get it to Tomas Mulcahy, succeeding dangerously in. And a goal! Kevin Hennessy, the scorer! Kevin Hennessy scores Cork's second goal. 12 minutes are gone. It was wide across the area and dribble in from the narrowest of angles. That's brilliant finishing. So what a shattering blow this is to Galway. They were the hot favourites coming into the match, and that's never an easy thing to carry with you into an All-Ireland final. Everyone expecting you to do well, and then you get rocked by 2 goals inside 12 minutes. So it's the Cork fans here in the Hogan stand, the happiest at the moment, but there's a long way to go. First out to the ball that time was Richard Brown. He was impeded as he was doing so. Gets a pat in the back from Dennis Walsh, says, well done, Richard, back to the full-back position. And some angry looks being exchanged there between Noel Lane and Richard Brown. Richard Brown, who's a 25-year-old dentist, as Tom Cashman rouses his colleagues. When I was talking to Tom on Friday, he was very, very determined that Cork would not fail. A dangerous kind of a ball, Peter Finnerty getting it out for Galway. Cork looking sharper. This is Jimmy Barry Murphy getting right into the match. Stopped, however. But it comes wide across the goal, and it's Sylvie Linnane who gets it out. Beyond Pat Hartnett to Martin Naughton, a player of great pace, great speed. Now can he deliver the final telling pass? He's going for a point, and he's missed it. Well, he might have given the service just a little bit earlier. He's a good carrier of the ball, Martin Naughton, but I think you'll agree, Eamon Cregan, that that was a chance simply gone a-begging.
Yes, indeed. It's very interesting, the contrast in styles. Galway play a possession game when they run with the ball. Cork are playing more direct, and Cork have scored two goals because of that.
Certainly, Cork have caught Galway on the hop. That's Steve Mahan. Downfield towards Noel Lane. Galway needing a goal. Very near the end line. Dennis Mulcahy dangerously keeping it in play, because it's gone back to Galway, to Noel Lane. The pass, however, has gone astray, seemed to go off a Cork stick, and it's the first 65 of the match. Just coming up to 15 minutes gone in the game, and Cork the leaders by 2 goals, 2-3 to 3 points. And some of the Galway supporters here near us, very subdued at the moment. Tony Keady takes the free, dropping it into the square. Johnny Crowley gets the stick to it. Went off his stick, I thought, and the umpire quickly out, and that will be another 65. Johnny Crowley still disputing that with the umpire.
It'll be interesting to see how Galway will recover Michael or Ger. They're kind of shocked at the moment, and there was a 70, and instead of taking a positive stance, Tony Keady lobbed the ball into the square.
Here's Keady yet again. Ger Cunningham under it, stops it calmly. There was some pushing, and that will be a free out. He's a very confident goalkeeper, had a couple of very good seasons at the start of the 80s. Went through a difficult spell for a while there when the confidence seemed to ebb from him. But he's back to his best, Ger Cunningham. Peter Finnerty here, who's also playing a terrific game. Hard pulling, Dennis Walsh gets it. Back to Peter Finnerty for Galway. Launching the counter burst, that's a great shot. Oh, that's a lovely point. 60 metres from his own goal. And he lobs it over the bar in dramatic fashion. 5 points between them now. That's the kind of goal that can really give a team a spur. They were going through a valley period, Galway, and they've certainly now found a little bit of inspiration. The Galway fans have travelled here in their thousands, hoping that this time the McCarthy Cup will cross over the Shannon on Monday night. They were so disappointed last year against Offaly. If Galway take the cup home, it'll be Noel Lane who will take it with him. Joe Cooney for Anthony Cunningham, the goalkeeper advances. Seemed to be a bit of holding, the referee allowed an advantage. Ger Cunningham gets it out. Very near the sideline, Peter Finnerty steps out over the sideline, and a line ball to Cork. A good bit of anticipation that time by Ger Cunningham. It could so easily have been a score at the other end. Instead, Cork go back into the offensive. So John Fenton, who was Cork's captain when they last won the All-Ireland in 1984, and this is the angle he's aiming at. He's a great exponent of a sideline ball, an expert at cutting the ball up. It's one of the real skills in Gaelic football, or rather in hurling. That's a beautiful shot, but inches wide. Shakes his head in disappointment.
Ger, it's great to see it, but it's a tuck out. He sent the ball wide. Great ball, but it's 90 yards clearance for the Galway players.
Brendan Linsky has difficulty taking it into his hand. Tony Kilkenny, his midfield partner, one of two midfield partners. Galway looking a bit confused at the moment. I think they've been confusing themselves by some of the early switches. There's a lack of direction and cohesion in their forward line. The system we saw against Kilkenny 4 weeks ago in the semi-final worked a dream, but when it's not working so well, it looks very, very tattered and confused. Pat Hartnett's ball. Taken by Tomás Mulcahy. He has been so effective. Here he is looking for a goal. There's nothing to stop him except the stick of Sylvie Linane. And it's cleared away out of danger. It could so easily have been goal number 3. Pierce Piggott, the man from Gort, trying to get Galway moving in attack, hitting the ball into an outside right position, as it were, a right corner forward position, and there simply is nobody there at the moment. John Fenton, first to the ball. Jimmy Barry Murphy taking it low, down to Tomás Mulcahy. A point. He might have got a point just a moment or two ago. But Tomás Mulcahy linking up with the great Jimmy Barry Murphy, who's the oldest player in the match today, though he's only 32. Linking up effectively, and Cork get the score. Tom Cashman covering off in defence. Pat Hartnett playing at wing back. John Fenton there first. And a bit of holding that time by Teddy McCarthy on Jerry McInerney. John Fenton seemed to get a clip on the ankle that time as he was first to the ball. He's hobbling around just at the moment. Tony Keady taking that free from the 65-metre line, dropping it in ominously, but a couple of feet wide of goal. It just needed a touch. Very quickly pucked out by Ger Cunningham as Cork tried to press home their advantage. I think they feel that they've got Galway on the rack at the moment, and they're looking for every possible score. Tomás Mulcahy has been a revelation on the 40. Tony O'Sullivan getting into the match. In towards Ger Fitzgerald. Stopped by Ollie Kilkenny. Ollie Kilkenny is a very, very effective cornerback. The man from Kiltormer was held, and that will be a free out. Galway have plenty of talent on their bench, and before too much longer, you'd begin to wonder whether we might see PJ Malloy or Michael Connolly come on the field. Jim Cashman, first time hurling. Into space, Jerry McInerney here. Not such a long puck. Added to by Peter Finnerty, who's giving it everything. Tony O'Sullivan, the man Peter Finnerty is marking this afternoon. Towards Jerry Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's an Army man, one of the Middleton players. John Commons, they're really testing him. And he certainly is answering the questions. Now can he clear from danger? Or he puts himself into trouble.
Ger, I think Galway are a very nervous side at the moment. They're not playing with the same belief in themselves that they had against Kilkenny. And they're hoping things will happen, but they're not making them happen.
Johnny Clifford and Dr. Con Murphy, the medical officer of the Cork team, with the word of advice to John Fenton. Con Murphy just attending to John Fenton. There's Cyril Farrell on his feet for a moment. John Fenton again goes for a direct score. Stopped by Jerry McInerney stepping into the breach. Out towards Tony Kilkenny. One of the two Kilkenny brothers playing. He's the older. Pat Hartnell can't hold on to it. Martin Naughton tries to get Galway moving. Brendan Linsky, so much expected from him. It comes to Tom Cashman, however. Towards Tony O'Sullivan. Stopped by Peter Finnerty. Finnerty is such a brave wing-back. Martin Naughton again, a good ball carrier as we saw earlier, this time opting for the early ball. It's cut out by Dennis Mulcahy, running into a strong and tenacious challenge from Steve Mahan, who's going for the point, and he's got it! That's more like it from Galway as they get themselves back in the match. 2-4 to 5 points the score, and we have 23 minutes gone in the first half. Well, that's what the fans have come to see. John Fenton, by the way, clearly injured, is now playing corner forward, it seems. If not corner forward, it's right half forward. Tony O'Sullivan, for the moment, seems to have gone back. Or Teddy McCarthy, rather, has gone back into midfield. Cyril Farrell looking a little agitated. Things just not going quite right, not going to plan. Jim Cashman's taking over the job of taking the line balls. Peter Finnerty cuts it out. Down towards Joe Cooney, who's been well marked so far by Richard Brown. Brendan Linsky having difficulty, as always. Two men going to mark him every time. The unmarked man, however, was Steve Mahan. Towards Anthony Cunningham. It comes off him towards Joe Cooney. That spells danger every time Cooney's got the ball for Cork. And a lovely point from Martin Naughton. Cork in trouble every time Cooney gets that ball, and Martin Naughton is there to apply the finish, and now there's just 4 points between the teams, and that is really nothing in the game of hurling. Just listen to the supporters from Galway in particular. Oh, a lovely catch by Jerry McInerney. The two wing-backs for Galway are playing very, very well. Kicking it clear into space, but he was fouled as he did so. The referee saw a foul after he released the ball, so it's a free from where the ball lands, and that's in the middle of the field. Well, there's been a bit of a turnabout, Eamon, in the last couple of minutes. Cork was so dominant for, I suppose, the 3rd minute to about the 20th minute. It's been all Galway for about the last 4.
Yes, indeed. They begin to believe in themselves. They're now playing the type of hurling that they're good at.
Tony Keady's free, and it's a point. That's a real rallying point. The fans of the maroon and white, they don't want to see their team defeated yet again. So 3 points between the teams. Were Galway to lose this final, remember, it would be their 5th loss in an All-Ireland final in 6 attempts since 1975, and that's Keady again. Pierce Piggott towards Martin Naughton, stopped by Pat Hartnett. Here's Brendan Linsky, going further and further back into his own half of the field, however. Getting nothing lightly. Teddy McCarthy breaks the stick, throws it away in disgust. It's a free to Galway. The referee says, take it nice and easy. He may have picked up an injury as well. That's Noel Collins, the team trainer. Tony Keady is poised meanwhile. The game will continue. It's a lovely shot. It's over the bar. Another significant score. 2 points between them. Tony Keady's second inside 2 minutes. Well, Galway, who were at sea for a long time, following 2 shattering goals by Cork, have brought themselves right back into it. Ger Cunningham was a long puck expert, but towards Peter Finnerty, and Finnerty is very dominant in that area. This is a great performance by the Galway half-back line against what should be said, I think, a fairly experimental Cork half-forward line. Pat Hartnett, the shoulder was challenged and tested that time, and that's I think Brendan Linsky who's down injured, and he really hit himself badly that time. We watch Pat Hartnett again coming away. Now watch for a shoulder here. There's the shoulder, and it was Brendan Linsky who came off second best. And attention is required for Brendan Linsky. He really took a shattering blow that time. It may have been the stick, it may have been the impact with the ground, as Pat Hartnett was taking it away out of danger. It may have been Hartnett's stick, as we watch it again, that caught Brendan Linsky. It was, as the stick was going backwards. Now, to lose Brendan Linsky at this stage, and he is most likely concussed, and the stretcher is out, as you can see. The Galway doctor, Mary McInerney, there in the light green tracksuit, the green legs of the tracksuit there, you can see, there she is. And this is a shattering blow. He's back on his feet, but he surely is very, very dazed. Now, Brendan Linsky, and anybody who knows him and admires him, knows that he's a man of steel, a man of great courage. He wants to play on. The fans want him to play on as well. But common sense will have to prevail. I don't know that he's as fit as he might be. He's taken a right old blow that time. Mary McInerney isn't too pleased, and she doesn't want to let him back on, and it's her responsibility, of course, to make sure that everyone is fit and able to play. So one of the better things, I think, about modern-day hurling, there's always a doctor present, and Brendan Linsky, in spite of his efforts to play on, he's having some medical attention. It wouldn't surprise me, mind you, if he was back later on. Meanwhile, we'll follow the play. Galway down for the moment to 14 men. That's a nice ball towards Anthony Cunningham. Tom Cashman makes the save when the goalkeeper was beaten. It's gone for a 65. Galway with 14 men, so very nearly snatching the lead. The goalkeeper came out as Anthony Cunningham was going in. They missed it completely, and watch for Tom Cashman picking up the pieces and clearing it away out of danger. 5 minutes to go to half-time. And a real old Titanic-style All-Ireland final. Tony Keady, one of the heroes for Galway so far, taking it. He's got another point. That's 3 he's got, and there's just a point between the sides. What a great game Tony Keady is playing. Burst on the scene last year in the All-Ireland hurling semi-final against Cork, and he's enhancing his reputation this afternoon as one of the best centre-backs in the country. We haven't seen any sign of a replacement so far for Brendan Linsky, and I think Brendan Linsky may well be on his way to get some medical attention. Meanwhile, Anthony Cunningham in the wars over there. It also brought coach Johnny Clifford to his feet. Quite incensed with the decision, but it's a free into Galway. So, just a point between the teams in the All-Ireland hurling final of 1986. 4 minutes of actual playing time to go to half-time. And Keady, with a sensational performance, has put the sides level. Croke Park stands and salutes a great centre-back. Tony Keady has tied up the scores. What a devastating display of free-taking this is by the centre-half back. And it's Keady who's out to beat it again. But Jerry McInerney just got there first, his colleague. Joe Cooney coming way out the field to get some space for himself, leaving Noel Lane and Anthony Cunningham dovetailing up there in the full forward line. Joe Cooney into the challenge yet again. Such an accomplished young player, but so much has been expected of him. Bad pass by Pierce Piggott to Johnny Crowley, the spare man in defence. Jimmy Barry Murphy against Sylvie Linane, his marker. And Sylvie has done quite well so far. Jimmy hasn't scored in the match. And that's gone wide. Despite the best efforts of John Fenton, who's hobbling away in this match, carried an ankle injury into the game. And Brendan Linsky, I can tell you, is back in the match. It takes more than an injured head to keep this man of steel out of the action. He's in under the dropping ball again. Away by Jim Cashman, but only as far as Pierce Piggott for Galway. Into the open space, and racing onto it is Anthony Cunningham. Johnny Crowley is the marker for Cork, wearing number 4. A star when Cork won a 3 in a row in the 70s. Linsky then hasn't even got a bandage. Well, he's a really brave player. I think the other players on the field, surely they look at him and say, with his example, we just can't fail. Steve Mahan taking the line ball. It's wide. So the sides are still level. Cork 2-4, that's 10 points. Galway 10 points.
It's a most peculiar game, Ger. In the first 20 minutes, Cork were all over Galway, and suddenly Galway started to come back with 4 great points by Tony Keady. I see John Fenton has gone in corner forward. I think they should take him off. He's hobbling there. He's just not capable of playing at the moment.
Teddy McCarthy leaving it run over his head. And Tomás Mulcahy has been less and less effective in the last 10 minutes as Tony Keady has simply taken a grip on the proceedings. And this is Peter Finnerty, his colleague, coming up with the ball, making a great save and winning the free. So Keady will take the free. The sides level in the final. Galway looking the more determined and the more likely in the last few minutes. Johnny Crowley stops it. Nice hand pass to Dennis Walsh. Towards Teddy McCarthy, having difficulty taking it low. Jerry McInerney has pressed time to that ball. Nice little sidestep. Now, can he deliver the pass in, or will he go for the point himself? He carried it too far, it seemed. He took it more than the 4 steps permitted. And a touch of inexperience being shown in his play. Tom Cashman looking around to see just where he should deliver this ball. Dropping it in towards Jimmy Barry Murphy, but overhitting the pass as Jimmy was being well marshalled by Sylvie Linane. But the referee has whistled up the play, and he's awarding a free to Cork as the crowd wonder just why. Probably a little bit of pushing off the ball. John Bailey, who becomes the 10th Dubliner to referee a hurling All-Ireland final this afternoon. Steve Mahan issuing the instructions to the defence, don't get caught out again. John Fenton will be the free taker.
It seems the reason for the free, Ger, is that the Galway fellas are staying too close to the free taker. It's as simple as that. That's why he's pushing back Pierce Piggott there.
So John Fenton with the injured ankle. And his one contribution that he can make, I suppose, is accurate free taking. As he gives Cork the lead again. right in the dying embers of this first half. John Fenton gives Cork a 1-point lead. So a goal and 3 points is the Middleton man's contribution. Tony O'Sullivan reading the ball. That was Brendan Linsky with a delightful interception. Line ball to Cork. Very near the half-time whistle. I'm sure Brendan Linsky will be glad of the break. Pat Hartnett cutting it up again towards Ger Fitzgerald, but Jimmy Barry batted down, however, to Steve Mahon. The foul on Steve Mahon by Jim Cashman as Jimmy Barry walks away. Tony Keeley is the free taker. This one about 45 metres from his own goal. A well-struck free, wind-assisted, but just out over the end line in this highly competitive All-Ireland hurling final, which we hope you are thoroughly enjoying. The match now into injury time. 2 minutes of injury time has been played so far, and the referee, I think, won't be playing too much more. In fact, there it is, the half-time whistle. So, a first half in which Brendan Linsky was in the wars. Cork rocked Galway with 2 goals, were then themselves taken back to level pegging until John Fenton pushed them ahead again with that last point. Cork go in at half-time, leading by 2-5 to 10 points. Issue very much in doubt, and the prospects exciting. So, the teams head away to the dressing room for some words of advice as we go back now to join Michael Lester.
Yes, well, Galway came to Croke Park as favourites today. Cork came to Croke Park with several injury worries, but any notion that this would be a rout for Galway, I think they are well dispelled now. We have a fine hurling match in prospect, one that we look forward to again in the second half. So we take a commercial break right now. Join us again for our comments from the panel on the first half of this match in just a moment. The scene is half-time in the All-Ireland final here at Croke Park, the scene which sees the Artane boys band still down the pitch celebrating this year 100 years of entertaining the crowds at GAA matches. There are players from the past, from the present, and indeed players in the future as well, players from the Learners School who someday will wear the famous blue and red of the Artane boys band here in Croke Park. Let's join them again for a moment. So there, the Artane boys band then adding a touch of tranquility, if you like, to the half-time proceedings here in the match. But I can tell you that's going to be shouted again very shortly. Before it is, let me talk again to our 2 panellists. We have Joe McDonough from Galway. I'm also joined by Con Roach from Cork. Con, whatever we might have expected from this match going into the game, it's turned out very, very different indeed. And Cork certainly have got stuck in with Galway in the early stages.
Yes, Michael, I think looking at the game, I think the Tiger favourites has really got to Galway. They seem to be very tensed, and it's only the last quarter of an hour they've come into the game. Their half-back line seem to be getting on top, and Tony Keeley has struck some great long-range points there and really has got them back in the game.
If we watch here, Con, one of the major blows that Cork hit Galway in the first half, John Fenton's goal, now that was the one that really set the match up for Cork and got them in there.
That's right, Michael. I think it was a good shot.
You think he may have mishit it in
I don't think he went for a goal. I think he caught them unawares and then went into the net, you know. But I think if we can keep Pat Hartman, I think, is struggling a bit with his injury, I think. I just saw him there a while ago holding the shoulder, and I think if we can keep Fenton and Hartman going, I think Cork are in there with a chance, you know.
Joe McDonough certainly are in there with a chance. This is the second goal for Cork, and Galway found it very difficult to get into any kind of rhythm in these first 15-20 minutes.
Well, they seem to be a very nervous team in that first 15 to 20 minutes, and I think it didn't help them settle down at all. Whereas
Kevin Hennessy slipping in neatly there.
Yeah, a certain amount of laxness there in the Galway defence, I thought, and that probably stemmed from the nervousness. But certainly Cork hit Galway very, very quickly early on in the game with those snap goals, as it were, and it reminds one of the whirlwind start they had. I think it was in '82 against Kilkenny when Ray Cummins had a goal and a point scored inside a few minutes. But Galway came back into it again, and just noticed that from the 20th minute to the 36th, that minute of extra injury time there, they hadn't scored, and Galway had a brace of points, and they began to settle down much more. But I think that a significant factor in the play is the two styles of play. Galway are trying to play this possession game, as it were, whereas Galway are playing it very direct. I think Eamon referred to it earlier on in his comments. And I think that it was the obvious thing to do with the style of play that Galway are playing at the moment, because looking back to victories earlier in the 70s, we beat Cork in those days. The Galway teams beat Cork with a direct style of play. And I think that a little bit of confidence from the win against Kilkenny may have sort of given Galway, shall we say, a little bit of overconfidence, in the sense that they're trying to mess and poke a little bit too much with the ball rather than hitting it more direct, because Cork are obviously trying to counteract.
Well, obviously this is something that Cyril Farrell and the rest of the selectors are going to be talking about in the dressing room. Now, quickly, Joe, the question is, do you think Galway can do it now?
Well, I think if Galway settle down and tend to try and spread it out a little bit more. There's an awful lot of bunching going on there, which isn't suiting them at all, and 3 and 4 fellas going for the one ball. And to spread the wings, we haven't seen the wings used at all to the same effect as we did against Kilkenny in the semi-final.
Now, Cork have begun to struggle a little bit towards the end of that match from another point of view, Con. Injuries are beginning to catch up. John Fenton is limping. Can Cork hold out now at this stage, leading by a point? Will their experience see them through?
Well, as I said there, Michael, I think that's going to be the major factor in the second half. As I said, if Hartman can continue and John Fenton can come back in the middle of the field, I think yes, they will have a good chance in the second half. But it's going to be very. I don't think Galway have played at all yet. You know, I think they've yet to start playing. I think, you know, and that's a worrying factor. I think, you know.
But obviously, on the big day, it's all going to be down to the next 35 minutes, the experience of Cork, the enthusiasm of Galway. Can Galway get their tactics sorted out? It all remains to be seen, as I said, over the next 35 minutes. Let's see how the drama unfolds as we rejoin our commentator, Ger Canning.
Thank you very much, Michael. Up in Hill 16, it seems that trouble is breaking out. The Galway supporters and the Cork supporters getting involved in the tangle. Galway coming back out for the second half, and it'll be interesting to see, is PJ Malloy coming out with them, because he was definitely called in. He is. PJ Malloy is in the Galway team. My guess would be that perhaps Pierce Piggott is the one who's withdrawn. And there is PJ Malloy, 34 years of age, played in that memorable All-Ireland semi-final in 1975 when Galway beat Cork to start the beginning of a new era in Galway hurling.